With a backdoor for Vitality.Bee, they secure themselves their second win in this series, and they are on the brink of eliminating the Spanish LVP. Fnatic Team Queso aren't looking all too well, and I gotta say though, yeah, this was pretty interesting with the int, especially in this one.
Yeah, definitely. I felt once again the Fnatic was pretty disconnected of what they should been doing. They had Ocean Soul, they had Environasher, but still they struggled in order to get that mid prior.
I mean, they looked very good, but though, up until that point, and this is something I kind of want to touch upon a little bit, Jamada, I've seen a lot of these teams struggle with objective setup.
Yeah, it feels like objective setup has definitely been a really big, like, Achilles heel almost, right, for Fnatic Team Queso. But also, it just feels, not just objective setup, but sometimes even in Game 1, it felt like they didn't actually understand how they had to approach some of these team fights, right? And I think those in combination in this game is what was the biggest issue, and it just allowed Vitality.Bee too many chances back into the game.
So let's start off this breakdown with looking at these junglers, because I think these junglers are kind of detrimental in how these teams function, especially looking at Fnatic Team Queso. I'm not necessarily feeling the way MAXI has been playing this series so far.
Yeah, definitely. I'm missing him here as well because he used to be, the enabler of this whole Fnatic Team Queso composition, this whole Fnatic Team Queso roster. But I kind of miss MAXI, and I need him back in order to take, that rubber sweep.
What do you think this is, Jamada? Is it maybe the jitters? Because, I mean, these are players that know how to play. They've shown that they know what they're doing, but also, and I think this is something Munchables mentioned as well with the graphic they shown during the game, Fnatic has been performing less good as they were in the LVP.
If you look at the stats, you'd feel like you just say jungle diff or something silly, but like I feel like Skeanz is just being enabled a little bit more, has like an easier time into his lane, especially in this game. I felt like he was able to go like top consistently, even though it was technically, they're trading a lot of the dragons for it, they're trading a lot of bot resources. It just feels like throughout the team fights, Skeanz has more opportunities to actually do things compared to MAXI. And even when MAXI has the opportunities to maybe take over fights, I think it was the second, or maybe it was the first Herald where he possessed Nautilus, wasn't able to really push the issue beyond that. They got the Herald, yes, but I felt like MAXI, again, couldn't really step any further forward than the initial part of the play.
And someone we've been kind of building up this entire series is Bean, and I gotta look at this guy in specific the way around objectives. I'm gonna say, and I'm sorry about this, but Bean hasn't been doing all too well in my eyes as well. I don't know how you feel about this, because he's been dying in very random spots. I mean, this one you can talk about as like, hey, you're setting up your team for success, but as an AD carry, I don't know about this one.
In this very same spot, Oscar played absolutely the same in the first game and went absolutely the same way, disastrously. And yeah, I felt like not only being but Fnatic Team Queso were playing in very different phases today.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially it's one of those things where you don't necessarily like pointing out one player, but Bean really just, I don't know, it's just overstepped. Maybe he just has a comms issue where he doesn't know where the rest of Fnatic are compared to where he is pushing forward. It's tough to say, but when you see those clips like back to back, you're like, what is he doing? Why so far?
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta be honest, it's not necessary to be mean against the Bean, but it's mostly because these small mistakes, they make things very big. And it's these things that make you lose these games that you shouldn't be losing, because up until those points, Fnatic Team Queso was looking very comfortable, I would say.
Yeah, I have to say that now I understand the power of monologues. Like, I power of monologues. Wow, it's tremendous. Yeah, but they were doing pretty well. So far, they have some bad days in European Masters, but they understand how to win with their compositions, and now I'm feeling like they missed that spark they used to have.
And as we progress into that game, Jamada, there are some certain fights, leading up to a point where we're like, you should be winning these fights, but you aren't. Yeah,
I mean, even like this fight in particular, they start off by just absolutely removing Szygenda from it.
Yeah.
But again, it turns into a situation, in this case, in this clip, it's Bean stepping too far forward. I think also the bailout usage being so early means that he doesn't get it upon death, and then there's no opportunity to potentially resurrect and actually get things going for you. But yeah, it's just a bit too disjointed, too not together enough as a unit.
I think you can go that hard when you're playing the Zeri with cleanse, because you can stop her so easily if she's not playing with that cleanse and he's playing with exhaust. And you really need those CC removal in order to, go 1v9, go that hard with the Zeri.
Yeah, I will say, I think if you have cleanse, then maybe you can play
maybe you can go that,
right? And you can step forward. You don't mind eating a charm because you can immediately cleanse it and you can reposition, you can flash, whatever. Or you can eat up any other kind of stun, Nautilus, lockdown, whatever it is. But in this instance, yeah, again, they, in many cases, had pretty decent sort of startups to objectives and getting things going, but it's about the finishing touches. And it's very reminiscent to me in groups where they would have very fine early games, 20, 25 minutes, very good. Transitioning those leads into greater leads and game closeouts has just been consistently Fnatic Team Kessel's biggest issue.
Yeah, and I think generally speaking, if you're hearing this and you're most likely like, hey, they're just bashing on Team Fnatic or Fnatic Team Kessler in general, but it doesn't take away that Vitality.Bee.
No.
Like, they make these chances for themselves. They're creating these spaces where they can take over, just as a fight we saw.
It's one of those things where, yes, you can obviously, like you say, pick on the mistakes, but you also have to be a very good team to capitalize on those mistakes and capitalize on them well, which, I mean, Vitality.Bee, we saw what they just did. They just turned a nail the start into a backdoor and finish. So, yeah, Vitality.Bee have still been playing very, very well. Fnatic, at least in this game, showed some of their actual Super League form, if you ask me, sort of like in the first 20 minutes, but they still need to bring more, I think.
I want to look once more to that Elder Drake fight that ended up being a backdoor and then as well, Noah. I mean, looking at this, you're like, okay, first of all, they pick up the fight and they're not necessarily getting anything they really want, I feel like.
For me, the main difference in this part is that Vitality.Bee knew exactly how they wanted to play and how they wanted to do it. Anyway, they are going to take the Nexus or they're going to get the Elder Drake. And Fnatic were just desperate. This was the first one, I would say. I was talking about the second one. Fnatic were a bit more split.
Oh my, what's that?
Yeah.
That is an atrocity.
I think, you know, we have Munch and Dagda on the desk. This is an LPL graph. This is what this looks like. I'm sure they would maybe agree. It's crazy. 6,500 gold up.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say, right? I mean, it's unlucky so far. I mean, is it unlucky? I think there's a point of discussion there as well. But all we need to know is, like, can Fnatic bounce back? I mean, you said they won't lose to the same opponent twice.
This is the first time. This is the first time.
This is the first for everything.
I predicted a 3-2, but I lost all hope, you know. I lost all hope. This is how it is.
Wow.
We bowed to the LFL. This is, I'm trying to jinx, okay? We bowed to the LFL, the Superior Region.
I don't know if Fnatic's a good... I don't know if Fnatic... Honestly, with how Fnatic seem to be with their mid-games and Vitality.Bee's ability to capitalize on what they're doing, this is just looking like a 3-0. I think, again, if it's just about the finishing touches for Fnatic, for me, they can get that together.
I mean, this is not only about it being a 3-0, but it's also about the fact being that 3 LFL teams in the semifinals.
You have to stop calling this European Masters.
Yeah.
LFL Masters. It's LFL Masters and some guests.
I mean, it's now or never for the Spanish representative to stay alive in the Amazon European Masters. Can they start an incredible reverse sweep, which would be awesome next game, or will it be complete LFL dominations? Let's head on over back to Munchables and the guys.
Thanks very much, guys.
Worst bot name ever.
Munchables and the guys. Well, Munchables and the big G's.
True.
There is a G in it.
It exists.
I'm not good at spelling, okay? I'm dyslexic. Like, what do you want from me? Let's talk about Fnatic, though. They were asking if there's any chance of Fnatic coming back in this series. Well, game number 1, they try and play the map, but it doesn't work. Game number 2, they try and play team fights, and it doesn't work. Like, where do they go from here?
I mean, I don't know. It feels like at this stage you've got like really good control of the mid game coming through from the side of Vitality.Bee, where even when you start to get these leads as Fnatic, we look and they saw them making picks on the bottom side of the map where, you know, they pick off being, instantly move into that pick onto Oscarinin, and that's what really gave them the control, the tempo they needed to get back into the game. And I think that's where we're kind of seeing Fnatic falter.
Yeah, but also, the desk looked so lost when they were trying to talk about Fnatic, Dan. I get to partly reason why, but Noah, come on, we brought you out here so you can be the pillar of the flame for the LVP. And you know what? I'll be the one to say that I hope that Fnatic, they can bounce back and not be too tilted after a loss like this, because it was so close, and yes, it was a little bit disastrous, but Vitality, you know, they are kind of just a mirror of Fnatic, and they do the things just a little bit better. If you can just get yourself in a little better situation next time around when your mid lane inhibitor has not fallen, maybe that's where you just strike.
They've just got to tighten some things up. I will say for Noah, I think she's just trying to curse Vitality there. I think that's what she's doing. She's switching sides to switch the curse over. We're going to have a Blanc ban to start us off. We're going to Lee Sin ban. It's just going to be rinse and repeat once again.
And I do wonder if Fnatic is going to change anything up, where they feel like, you know what, running back the compositions, we were perfectly happy with it. If it was me playing it, I would have been. Like, I thought they had the tools that they needed to actually, you know, execute their game plan. The problem was that they failed to execute it in the late game, and they should just never end up in a scenario where it's between an Elder Drake and their open Nexus when they have Soul.
Oh, so they're actually going to ban the Xayah, so it means Volibear is going to be left open here. So we're getting a little bit of a different taste here from Fnatic, and I think the Volibear, that could actually be a major issue, because honestly I think Skeanz, when he gets his hands on this early game jungler, has been able to make things happen really well, but actually going to go for the Ahri over the Volibear instead.
Doesn't mean the Volibear is available, that Viego that we saw MAXI playing as well is available. There's Zeri that has been a first pick all series long, or at least a first pickable champion could be the option for Bean. And you know, Bean has been very aggressive on this Zeri, but maybe this time he won't be against the Nocturne, and he'll be able to see where the rest of his team is.
I mean, they might be against the Nocturne. Maybe that's what Vitality currently wants again. Like, if you go for the Volibear Zeri rotation, we will still have lockdown in your backline. We'll just pick in the Nocturne ourselves. We'll play a stable early game, the first 3 clears, wait for that level 6, and that's where we start being proactive. So I'm actually curious to see if Fnatic now, they want to go with a different kind of front-to-back team fight, where you go for a Jinx or an Aphelios, or you are still going to be on this Zeri.
I'm really curious to see what the plan is going to be for Baca here, because we obviously look towards the Veigar as the kind of the big enter pick, right? But that's not exactly so. Okay, well, it's going to be locked in. It's not something that works very well with Volibear. Volibear wants to be aggressive. Veigar kind of wants to sit in lane and farm up and kind of like have the Ahri play into him. So it becomes a little bit more difficult now for MAXI and Baca to play through this mid jungle. So I think if Skeanz wants to go for something a bit more aggressive, like the Olaf that he's just locked in, now you can play through this mid jungle, shut down the Veigar, because you've got the ability to walk through that baby cage, and now this is a dangerous mid-jungle here for Vitality.Bee.
It's why we see Veigar usually be picked on 3, on 4, where you have few more bans to come through when you know the Vitality team composition, because it's a pick it's good if it's drafted into the right circumstances, but if you all of a sudden gets put in a position where people will ignore your cage, or the cage won't really matter due to a longer range from Vitality. If they decide to round out the composition around that, it does become a little bit difficult. And I'm curious to see now, why did they opt in for the AD carry on 3 instead of 2?
Yeah, and now the question is, like, do you pick the Zeri here, which it looks like they're going to go for, but you've already preemptively picked the Nautilus here, which is what I love to answer for the Zeri, kind of going, hey, look, you can take it, but we still already have that answer locked in. And now, just ban away supports. You take away the Leonia, you take away Rakan, you can end up in this situation where Zeri doesn't have a lot of tools to enable her.
All right, so I want to start talking win conditions, a big picture here, because so far we've been talking about very stylized comps. What do you guys want to see from Fnatic and from Vitality in this second?
So from the side of Fnatic, you know, I actually think they're being put in a better situation this time around, because the support has already been picked. That means you don't have to blind pick your top laner this time around. You can go for a counter pick down towards the bot side. You can still go for an enchanter if you want to play around the movement speed. You can give to a Volibear, you can give to Zeri. She'll be beneficial of that. You'll have a winning top side, and maybe you'll have more pressure to play around with from that side.
Yeah, I think as well for Vitality.Bee, I want to see things that guarantee yourself that lane priority, right? Because what this Olaf really wants to do is start to get in the face of Volibear with help. Like, make sure that he's able to win out with these trades, because you can kind of end up in these 1v2 situations very quickly where the Olaf can actually kind of take over. I think that's why I'm going to be looking towards things like maybe the Jace in the top lane for Szygenda, like ban away things like maybe a Tryndamere here so you can open up for that opportunity. And as well in that bot side, that's where I actually get a little bit worried, because I'm seeing this Zeri, I'm seeing the AD carry bans. A lot of them are things that can deal with Zeri, so now I'm curious to see what you're going to answer with.
The Rakan comes through for Rhuckz here, so more hard engaging that bottom side. We mentioned the Jace briefly there. Gangplank and Jace both available, both big picks for Oscarinin if he wants to go for them as a counter pick. But over to Vitality.Bee, so far a lot of ability to go forward for them, and I feel like they could just round out with more.
Yeah, that's why, you know, coming in with a champion like Rakan as well, that can be really instrumental later on, or very dangerous to play, just due to the fact that the lockdown, I mean, if you apply that to Rakan CC, that's his worst enemy. Yes, he's got a lot of dashes, but all the CC the enemy will have will interrupt your dashes, and then goes back to the fact there's a lot of one-shot potential in Vitality. One member gets picked up by CC, they die. It's that simple.
I mean, this is just Skeanz on fire. If this is locked in, the Senna and the... Okay. No. I got too excited. It's going to be the Ornn going up top.
Yeah, look, when I saw the Gwen, I was like, okay, this is chances are going to be that Ornn in the top lane to get away the true damage dealers, and you're able to push again onto that tank again. Not something that we expected from Vitality.Bee, but now you kind of got your pick of the litter here as Oscarinin. We've seen things, if you want to go back towards something like a Lucian into that top side, you can kind of pick whatever you want, even if you want to go towards the Gnar, you've got a ton of pressure. So not going to have too many lanes here that Skeanz can actually play around, because you're looking at Jeskla going to get pushed in bot, same for Szygenda in top side. So I think Skeanz has to make make this mid lane ganks hit, or Vitality.Bee are just going to fall behind too early.
Yeah, but I also feel like this is possibly the matchup we'll see where they'll be looking the most identical. This time around, both team compositions are way more about that team fighting rather than opening up a side lane. It's way more about being first in the objective. So the control of the vision, the first strikes, this might be the game where we don't see handshake, but we'll actually see them posture up aggressively for some of this vision, for the potential for fight.
I'd be surprised. I mean, we'll have to see, right? Because on the other side of that conversation, I feel like we've got scaling along both sides, right? What we've seen a lot of this series so far is one team that has to be proactive, and as you're saying, they'll shape up against each other. But realistically, do you expect these compositions to be fighting early on in the game? When I see this draft, I think like they're probably going to play it slow.
Well, at least I think when you got this like Ahri and the Olaf there, I think you need to start playing around this early game, especially when you're looking at the Veigar on the opposite side. Try and turn that into early dragons. Like use your mid priority, put pressure bot, turn it into those dragons and start to kind of scale into the matchup that way. I think if you end up having a situation where you kind of let the opposition, you know, get to a mid game where Bean's got 2 items, same with Baca, that where it can be issues.
But I think for sure we need to pay attention to the junglers in the early game. On the likes of a Volibear, we know how much he's all about that facilitation, all about the ease of execution in these ganks. They're set up in bot, they're set up in mid, can be set up in top side as well. From the side of Skeanz, this is an Olaf, one of the best brawlers in the early game, one of the best skirmishers you can have as well, especially when you hit that Ragnarok power spike. So it is going to be all about that level 6 as well. Whoever can get themselves ahead, can start stacking up the objective, will definitely put a lot of pressure on the opponent's team because they have the same win conditions in the late game. It is going to be about the team fighting, and if you just have the better inventory, well, it's quite simple. You're just going to be going into a fight.
If you have more gold, turns out you'll be stronger in a fight.
Yeah.
Now that's analysis that I like the sound of. I can understand that one. We're going into game number 3, boys and girls. It's going to be Vitality.Bee here, 2-0 up, representing the LFL, looking for a 3rd win and a 3rd LFL representative in the semi-finals. And Fnatic Team K, so last chance saloon here, last team from the Superliga, last opportunity to keep the dream alive.
And look, we're never going to hear the end of it if LFL ends with 3 seeds in quarters. Like, we need Fnatic to make sure that they're able to take this one. But it has to be the start of a reverse sweep. And with their backs against the wall, this is where we've got to see what Fnatic can bring to the table.
Well, down towards the bot side, I expect that we will just see the priority continue for Vitality. The Rakan matchup is not so fun into the likes of Nautilus. This is a matchup you usually pick because you want to open up the map instead. You want to skirmish around with your jungler, you want to link up with them. Luckily for Fnatic, that's something that Rhuckz and MAXI has been very good at doing for the longest time ever, taking it back to when Fnatic was in the NLC, when they went to finals as well. This is a jungle support duo that's been together for a very long time.
And especially when you look at the matchup, like, you can get some aggressive trades there, right? But realistically, like, Jeskla, especially as Bean starts to creep up in items, isn't going to be able to go for big dives or big plays onto Bean. So as long as Bean is playing it safe, you can unlock Rhuckz to go onto the map. And I'll definitely be looking, you know, at that kind of 4.5-5 minute mark after that first reset comes through. Where is Rhuckz going to put that attention?
Yeah.
See where Rhuckz is going to get out onto the map. And Rhuckz has actually had a reasonably good series for himself.
He's had a phenomenal,
Renata,
I mean, he's been losing, but like the Renata performance has been absolutely stellar.
Yeah. It feels like he's been one of the standout players here for the side of Fnatic. And you know, you talked about back when they were on the NLC, like last year, 3 of these players were on the Fnatic roster from the NLC. 3 of these players went to the finals against K-Corp. And whoever wins this series will go into a semi-final against K-Corp. They'd love to do it again, but it's not feeling like Vitality will give them a chance.
And even then, we were talking about Rhuckz back on that roster saying, look, he's so good in the early stages of the game. Now, for Fnatic in EU Masters, he has 80% kill participation. That is an absurd number for anyone to have. And it feels like, once more, Rhuckz, we need him to step up. We need him to link with MAXI, like we've seen from Fnatic all EU Masters long.
Yeah, but the problem is, again, Vitality is just a mirror of Fnatic. Like, Jactroll, he's the exact same. You know, he's got this, what, 71% kill participation. He's got the almost same dual procs as well. Like, these supports, they're just so identical as well. So when you have a bot lane who's got the priority, who gets to have the first move, well, that will favor Jactroll. He will be the R1 out of the map first. But we also saw last game, Rhuckz, he was good to punish when he came in with a later timing. So it's all about how they play the team fights when they finally move out of the map.
And I love that we're seeing Rhuckz on a hard engage support this time around, right? Because we've been talking about the fact that these two supports stylistically are similar, but we've had one of them on an enchanter and the other on hard engage. Well, now they're both hard engage. Now they can both be that big go put for their team. Jactroll starting that story off as he pulls Rhuckz in, but MAXI playing secret agent here, sneaking into the bottom lane.
This is very cheeky. If you just have tracked MAXI so far, you think he's going to be on the Rhuckz right now. You think he's going to be on the top side, so that's why they're getting so aggressive.
Knock up for Jactroll, but it doesn't actually go off. Rooted before he could find it, and the Ignite is enough to deny the play.
But keep your eyes on mid. Skeanz now is trying to see if he can start to move in. But Oscarinin.
Yeah, keep your eyes on top, because Szygenda forces a flash away. Ornn is definitely a champion in League of Legends.
Yeah, I love when Szygenda brings out the Assassins. Just really goes to show how strong he is on these carry top laners. And he pushes Oscarinin. Flash is gone. Skeanz is moving up there. Teleport is coming in. It's a crashed wave, but Szygenda no mana. No more in the tank to go for a fight.
Yep. Baca cancelled his reset though, so Oscarinin would have been on his own, but the Fnatic didn't actually show that, so Diplex now going to just shove out mid, and everyone going to back away. But I like that we're starting to see kind of Skeanz making tracks in towards making these aggressive plays, because I definitely think like with Diplex, not so far been able to find that aggression in mid lane. You haven't quite hit the level 6. It feels like Skeanz kind of needs to get the ball rolling for himself here to a certain extent.
But here's the link up. Rhuckz, MAXI, together. What can they get done? Nothing, because everyone's on a reset timer. But this is what we're looking for, and you can see Fnatic, they're staying proactive. They want to be the one who's making the ball roll.
I think the best way to kind of continue this forward is to look at that bot side, right? Jeskla and Jactroll actually have a wave that's starting to build up there, so go push that in, use your priority mid, and then start to rotate in towards the dragon. But MAXI and Rhuckz doing a good job here of trying to disrupt that, right? They move into river first, they're trying to keep pressure here on towards Bean, and make sure you've actually got to take the long way down as Jeskla and Jactroll, so not able to actually work off of their waves right now.
No, but you can see how much these skirmishes matters, right? The fact that Jeskla is the one rotating around with the jungler too, they know, okay, Rhuckz, MAXI, they're out skirmishing. If we bring 3 members to the party instead, we should win. But it's just like, it's these moves, it's tat for tat. It's like the responses to the reaction.
And it's so tense. You know that both these teams know how close they are. For Fnatic, 1 away from being knocked out. For Vitality.Bee, 1 step away. For Pride, not only for the LFL, but for themselves as well.
Oscarinin going to be the target for Vitality as Skeanz just going to charge forward. Did use the Ghost here. Big damage onto Oscarinin. Remember, his flash was used before. And there's the axe from Skeanz to finish the kill. In the meantime, the Drake was taken by Max.
Just a great opportunity play there for Skeanz though, right? Knows that the flash is down thanks to Szygenda being able to find that early, so just punishes that off the wave bounce. And as we already knew, Fnatic had put those resources into getting Dragon, denying Vitality.Bee that. It means the Skeanz gets that free lick into the top side. And now you got to look and go, right, 7 minutes about to approach. Fnatic trying to set up for a bot lane play that they can turn into the Rift Herald in a minute's time.
But it was also just a magic word of the day. The good cross map came through from Vitality. You know, they gave away the Drake. Skeanz moved up towards the top side of the map. He can start clearing up the bot side and hover his way up towards the top side, as Dagber is mentioned. In Herald here, will be spawning in just 1 minute's time, and then we will for sure see what support gets out on the map movement first. Currently, Fnatic, they're doing a good job at getting the bot lane priority. Maybe this can set them up for a favorable skirmish on the top side on the later end.
Rhuckz have been trying to crash this wave right here. They would almost be able to do it, but it looks like Jactroll will be just clearing things up in the end anyway. Herald coming up on the top half of the map in 30 seconds time, and so far we've not really seen the teams fighting over that first Herald.
Now they're trying to see if they can play the map out correctly, and I think as Goldberg has been saying, trying to get control of bot side, but a ton of vision on this bot side for Fnatic, so they kind of have the push already and know exactly how many resources they need to get it dedicate to a fight on the top side. Oscarinin even getting the push in at top, may look for Szygenda.
Slammed against the wall, walloped as well, takes a boulder to the face. Good damage out from Oscarinin. Don't think they can commit to the dive, but I've been wrong before. As in they go, denying the tower, flashing forward, and MAXI will finish that kill off. There's one in the top side as Skeanz arrives. He's trying to turn things around. He's just going to go straight away with the Ragnarok, has a tower, and knows that Oscarinin abandoned the play. Finds a 1v1 as Bean dodges the hook.
That's just a skirmishing power. Don't know if we're done just yet.
Rhuckz finds another engage. Jeskla ignited, backing away. One more hit. Oh, it's whiskers away, but Jeskla will survive.
And just about, but Vitality.Bee, they're still kind of falling behind, right? Like, MAXI's doing a really good job of getting to these neutral first, putting himself in a position so Skeanz can't answer, and we see it on top, right? They get the diamond Szygenda, deny the access in towards the Rift Herald. Now we're seeing on bot side as well, Bean and Rhuckz starting to get control over this bot side. Now you got to play it safe as Jeskla, which can open up Fnatic again to get onto the map. Even MAXI, he's moving down boss.
Yeah, this might be a little bit over-aggressive from Jactroll. Let's see how it plays out.
Oh, he's knocked up. He's in trouble. Rhuckz trying to finish this one off with a bit of healing coming out as well, but MAXI has arrived. Lightning from the sky. Jactroll slowed, forced to flash. Jeskla, the new target, and has no HP, apparently, as MAXI just bodies him. And now a knock up in the top side as Oscarinin in a 1v1, but he's turned mini, and Skeanz will just chase him down. Undertow after undertow as Diplex wants a bit of action for himself.
And we talked about it this game. They would get so messy in the early game. They have so many facilitators. They have so many reasons to fight for it. And it's very bloody already 10 minutes into the game.
But both teams are doing so good at trying to play off against each other. We're seeing consistent tip for tat, but it is Vitality.Bee who have the extra kill. It is Vitality.Bee who are onto the Rift Town, and slowly but surely the LFL are starting to pull ahead again.
It's just a story how it's been the entire time for today. They're very identical in the way they want to play the game, but it's just Vitality just getting that little bit of an edge, that little extra percentage.
It was an overextension here from Jactroll though. Like going that bit too far on the bot side means that you actually end up trying to make this play happen, and MAXI just shows up. And I think for Jactroll, like just a bit over committing for that, especially when you know you're trying to make this play happen on the top end.
And usually as a support, you'll die for your AD carry Sins. This time around, Jeskla died for his support Sin instead, so it feels a little bit bad. But what can you do about it? On the top side instead then, Oscarinin just too far forward.
That's not Jactroll's way. That's not Jactroll's way. He's quite happy to let Jeskla go down. And you know, we're talking about...
live the king.
Exactly. We're talking about how, you know, this is a very high pressure game from the side of Fnatic. They're trying to go tit for tat. They're trying to match toe for toe. But when it comes to experience, this really isn't a toe to toe situation, right? Vitality.Bee with LEC, I still say EULCS, but like it's still automatic in my head. LEC players on the roster, it feels like in these kind of stressed out situations, they're gonna have that mental edge. And Bean, you know, obviously experienced in that he's been to Worlds, but that was only 6 games.
Yeah, let's get back to another thing in this game as well, which of course is the team fighting. We have 30 seconds until Drake will be on the cards. Both Szygenda and Oscarinin have that teleport, and we get to this part of the game where it will be a fight of the vision. It will be a fight for the priority of the Drake.
And now you can see that priority in the mid lane is what feeds into Dragon, and this is what we're talking about with the Ahri. Although Veigar can contest when it comes to, you know, controlling the Ahri, actually getting push mid is in Ahri's favor, but that might need to come quick.
Rhuckz finds a knockup but gets rooted for his trouble. Shadow across the team as MAXI tries to escape. Will be able to dash behind the rest of his squad as Jactroll takes a blast to the face from Bean. And it's all just going to be deterred by the side of Fnatic. Nice disengage.
Even look at the top side as well. We've got fight all over the place. Health bars are insanely low. We will have the quick reset from Szygenda, though. He may give up this wave to get towards the Dragon if Vitality.Bee want to push it.
In how many matchups do you see Ornn and Gnar be this aggressive with one another?
I wish I saw it more. I can't complain about the action, but with this, I surely think Fnatic Team Quest, so they should be able to pick up the second Drake. The fact they have that TP advantage means that the threat of going for a team fight is just too great for Vitality, and they have to forfeit it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Vitality.Bee got their goal in the mid lane, though, so they will give it across. And again, we have seen what happens at these later Dragons. Fnatic got all the Dragons in the last game, but weren't able to cross the finish line. And now it feels like Vitality, again, are kind of using these moments to get pressure in mid, get gold onto Ahri and onto Skeanz, because those are the two right now that are leading in the gold difference for Vitality.Bee, where it's Bean who has all the gold for Fnatic.
But this time around, though, as Vitality, you don't mind the game being about the Drakes either, because for once, you finally have that as a win condition as well, as both teams already have, as we have established throughout this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the skirmishing potential is going to continue, as the skirmishes is going to be about the Raptors now.
Well, you say that.
The big objective.
I know many junglers that will sacrifice their lives for the Raptors. We see it all the time. As Diplex one auto attack away from finishing that mid
like a true LPL caster.
Well, I'm trying not to bring it up too much, but that, like, chickens especially, everyone knows SOFM. He loves them chickens.
Honestly, it's just another objective in the game. Like, when you don't have the Drakes, the Heralds to play for, if you can go for invades on jungle camp, you surely should. Like, it's like kind of rubber band gold. You know, it's taking away something for your opponent, but it's also gaining something for yourself.
Big damage out from Diplex there. Did you see that? Walks forward, gets the auto on the tower, dodges the stun, and drops a cheeky little minion in
so good for
bit of style.
Yeah, Diplex has been absolutely wonderful, but now trapped in the cage. But I don't know if they really have the follow-up here, especially with Jactroll hovering in. River will be spotted by MAXI, and maybe Jactroll becomes the new objective here.
That Scuttle Crab as Rhuckz trying to move into the river. Could be surrounded, but it's just going to be a hook into MAXI here. As in goes Skeanz, Ragnarok in and trying to finish these kills off Bean. Stuck over the wall, flashes away. Jactroll looking for more onto Rhuckz, but it's just going to be the flash away from the Everfrost. Vitality, they don't get a kill, but they just beat everyone away.
And that was just a fight over the Skottel, but you can still see the skirmishing talent that Vitality have in their roster. They're so individually talented, the way they're piloting this, the way they're synergizing together. They are just on the better end of the stick right now, and they are facing Fnatic.
I think it's just the way that they're being able to play off their wave states is so much better, right? Like, Baca pushed in there, but you still see Fnatic trying to go for the play in river. It means that you've got Diplex who comes first, Jeskla's in there. It makes it really tough for Fnatic to try and find these fights, and consistently this Volibear has kind of been set back when it comes towards these fights. Now, you're still looking at 2 kills apiece for the jungler, but it is the CS difference that's giving Skeanz the lead here.
Skeanz trying to move forwards here. Playing with vision, but there is a control ward just around the corner from him, so can't go too far forward. Still a couple of minutes till Drake. It feels like there's a Drake on the map right now with the way the teams are playing.
And look, it's a little bit of a slower paced game, but I do want to start looking at like how we start to get in towards these team fights as it goes on. Because third Dragon coming up in 2.5 minutes, we're probably going to see some action. And I think we really have to look at like how Diplex sets up for these fights, because it feels like a front to back with 4 members of Vitality.Bee, with Diplex trying to play that threat onto the backline, be that threat onto the Zeri.
Forcing a flash from Jeskla will find a route as Rhuckz can't quite get that knock up, and now he's gone too deep. Being a MAXI, they want to protect him, they want to be there for him to dash to. A blast cone, can it save him? Jactroll says no, finds the hook, and Skeanz cuts him down.
Hookline and sinker, Skeanz cuts him down, as she said, on the top side. Still action from Oscar, but
is it going to be more? Is it going to be more? It's a boomerang in. It's a barrier from Szygenda. He's got a spellbook and a half.
But once again, it's just good skirmishing that comes through for Vitality. Jeskla manages to go away. By Fnatic, they overstep their boundaries just a little too much, but every time you just overstep them, Vitality, they're there to punish immediately, and as we have a look at the replay, it's a good catch initially for Fnatic.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they actually spotted Jeskla moving into that bush, but it's a nice attempt, but Rhuckz just not quite able to get the knock up. Bean isn't able to follow up the wall, and Vitality.Bee again, because they have control of mid, they have control of river, and it just means that they've got this clear line straight down to the bot side, and when Rhuckz not able to get out, it's actually a turnaround pick for Vitality. Vitality, though, caught again here.
Yeah, Rhuckz has to dash away towards the rest of his team, gets a bit of healing, he'll be fine. Skeanz just getting a couple of axe throws towards him. Drake up in a minute's time. Let's talk Fnatic. How do they secure this third Drake? How do they operate in the fight to make it happen?
You're operating around the cages from Baca as well. Yes, you have members like Skeanz that can get out of it, but you need to play around that cooldown. You need to have the CC that follows up, and then you have the backline in B that you have to play for. You need to step up with them here.
I really want to see Fnatic try to bait Vitality to overextend, but might actually be the reverse. If you can play around these choke points into the river and you can bait Vitality into them, that's where you get high value from the AoE from Bean, from Baca's cages, from Rhuckz being able to charm multiple members.
You know, Szygenda, it's still early in the game. He's not that super late game Ornn just yet, but he's still damn tanky.
But look at the top side here. Fnatic, they don't actually have to fight for this Drake. There's whole break on Oscarinin right now. He's onto the second turret in just a bit, and you can already see MAXI. He's starting up the Rift Herald. So Fnatic, they baited Vitality in towards the Drake, but they're getting the better end of this trade on the top side of the map instead. This is a lot of gold that they're accumulating for themselves.
He's just going to get both of them. He gets 2 towers for himself, and they get the Herald.
And now you have a really easy job of setting up for a mid play with Fnatic. You push in top, then you rotate through the jungle. There's no vision set up for Vitality, and you can play off of this objective in the mid lane while you know Vitality have to be taking Dragon to try and counteract this. So, Oscarinin, you just need to roam over with this Rift Herald. He's going now.
Good from Fnatic right now. There's signs of lives for them into this series. Drake still haven't been taking. Teleports are coming in from Szygenda as well. We might fight this one.
This play was all set up before the Drake even spawned, so Fnatic are here to fight it. MAXI in the back of the pit, though, will be knocked up. Just jumps onto Diplex, tries to find the fight elsewhere. Ornn comes on through. Diplex will survive, and the Drake taken by Vitality.Bee. Now Fnatic have to try and escape with a great hook onto MAXI. He's burning down and chopped down by the Axeman himself. Root from Diplex is Oscarinin trying to get to the rest of his team. He's kind of in a bad spot, but that's big damage out from Baca, and Bean starting to stack up in this fight. Can they finish anyone from Vitality? Can they turn it around? The answer is no, as Szygenda goes in. Double knock up there. Oscarinin turning mega, flashes forward, pulls them in, and Rhuckz with another knock up. It's Bean finally on the scene as they cut down the members of Vitality.Bee.
And Fnatic Fnatic are just about able to turn that around, but it was looking messy, it was looking dire for them for so long, but now they will get the mid lane tower and they can continue to push forward.
And this time around, it was Vitality that overstepped their boundaries. Fnatic, who's punishing, they keep getting these turrets now. 2 in the top side, 2 in the mid lane. They almost got the Drake for themselves as well, but Fnatic, they have taken a lead in this game.
And I felt like it was very close for Fnatic. I didn't actually agree with the way they set this up. I think you just go for mid tower, play the map, but it's because Vitality overextend, Fnatic come out on top. This is wonderful from Vitality with Jactroll going in, setting up the play, but this is where you back off. This is where you take the winnings and run.
Yes, Szygenda getting a 3-man knockoff, really hyping them up. They want to get more. He sees another potential here, can get 2 men on the pillar, and that's what he goes for. This is where they overextend. They don't respect the Mega Gnar. 2 men comes in, they're like, great, we can try and fight it, but it's already too late. The follow-up's not going to be there.
That event horizon was clutch. The fact that you're not able to follow up on the engage from the Ornn means that then Fnatic have time for Oscarinin to get the Gnar bar for him to turn that around, and just that last moment before Baca went down saved Fnatic in that fight.
And we're 3 games into the series, and once again as we broach the 20-minute mark, the gold is just about even. This time it's 2 Drakes to 1. Next one isn't up for 3 minutes time. I'm not sure that's going to stop the teams from fighting.
No, but look at the map movement as well now. It's Fnatic who's always the first team out making the move. Now they're taking the bot lane turret instead. Vitality, they're trying to take the mid lane. Then they're like, oh no, we have to defend the bot lane. Then they realize, oh no, it's already gone. And Fnatic, they're just kind of playing cat and mouse with them, and they're getting the better end of that stick.
Yeah, Diplex looking to try and trade on top side, but look at the amount of members of Fnatic that are in this bot side jungle. You've even got Bean pushing in mid, so you have the option to rotate as Oscarinin. God!
He literally jumped over that anchor. The animation was literally underneath Gnar there. That was as close as possible for Oscarinin, but he survives, and that's what's important. 4 members here from FnaticTQ, so they might just go for a dive as MAXI in behind the play, has his ult available, but I don't think he gets to use it. Turns golden and will be shot down before he can escape to the team. Diplex flashing forward, and the interception flashed from Bean. So close to beautiful from Diplex. Is Bean trying to kite. Fnatic trying to kite, trying to escape, trying to survive in this series. But Szygenda doesn't want to let it happen. Moving in on the top side of the play, looking for the knockup. Oscarinin will be the target here. The stun coming out the event horizon is too little too late.
Yeah, just barely misses there as well. Vitality, they get the punish this time around, and once again, overstep, punish, overstep, punish. It just keeps going back and forth between our 2 teams.
And again, we're still seeing how even that gold is because it's constantly these counter punches. No one getting these massive leads. We're kind of just about pulling ahead as Vitality, but we'll have to see now because 1.5 minutes until the next dragon. And with the way these teams are playing, you know there's going to be a fight, but you can see here just the overextension from Fnatic.
Yeah, they don't have the full intel that Jactroll and Jeskla is still is around. So MAXI, all he thinks here is that they're diving it on, but even in retrospect, going for a play like that, not always going to be the most successful.
Yeah, and you can see as well, being just caught out as he went for it, it means that he's super low. So as Vitality.Bee start to chase forward, you actually don't have the health bars on your carries to step up and try and play aggressive, especially with the super short range Zeri. And really nice job from Szygenda to get that flank, just get that pick onto Oscarinin.
We are finally starting to get to the point where these Ornn items are going to come into play. We're starting to see the scaling coming on through. And if Vitality are even with a Senna, with an Ornn, I'm liking the look of their comp late game.
It's not bad. More items coming through. It's never going to be complaining. There's just like the infinite scaling that we have in the Senna that you mentioned as well. And once again, Diplex, he's going to be such a threat. If one person gets hit by a charm, the follow-up that's going to come through, it's going to be absolutely huge.
Once again, though, we're seeing Vitality.Bee with setup for the objective. Push in bot, priority mid, vision control, littered across the river and this bot side jungle. It means that Fnatic, again, are going into this blind. And with the way Vitality.Bee have been playing, it just opens up space for Diplex, opens up for this front to back for the rest of the team.
If Diplex can find a charm onto Rhuckz, he'll go down before he can escape. Oh, no, he won't. He's fine. He touches up to the rest of his team. Never mind, I'm overestimating what Ahri can do. There's a hook off to Oscarinin. Not into Mega Gnar just yet. Finally brings it out. But there's a pick onto Jeskla. Just what Fnatic needed. Rhuckz in trouble. Tries to dash the team, but a great hook from Jactroll. Now Szygenda has to flash away himself. 4v4, but Oscarinin wants to change those odds. There's another one for Bean. as he falls, and now Drake surely for Fnatic.
Yeah, there we have it. Fnatic, they finally find the better team fight. They were not even the first one, the objective, but they're the one with the better proactive movement. And Rhuckz, despite him going down, finds a brilliant engage with a follow-up for the rest of the teams. They should be able to put themselves on soul point here.
And we said at the beginning we wanted to see Rhuckz step up, and he does it in this fight. Jeskla steps that little bit too far forward, and Rhuckz sees his opportunity. Right as you get caught by Baca on the event horizon, Jeskla goes down. A huge amount of the damage and also the healing that enables things like this Olaf to go aggressive is now out of the equation. And although they get one back, you just don't have the consistent damage here as Vitality.Bee to fight against Fnatic as they go towards the dragon.
It's just easier for Fnatic to chase them down. All Vitality have left in their kit is just to play retreat. And what does this give them on the map? Well, not too much just yet, but it gains them the pressure in just these next 5 minutes. If they can retain a gold lead, if they can get more map control, specifically around the Drake area, Vitality, they may be looking for their final fight in just 5 minutes.
And you know, you mentioned the gold lead. We are literally 200 gold between the two teams. We're 24 minutes into the game.
I actually started my point expecting Fnatic to have a bigger gold lead.
Yeah. Well, I glanced because you mentioned it, yeah. But the crazy thing is how close these games have been, and yet it's a 2-0 scoreline right now. Oscarinin is just like, you know what? I don't care if there's an Ornn here.
Boom,
I'm taking this tower.
Yeah, but you're putting multiple members for Vitality.Bee down onto this bot side, and Fnatic, they're sitting right in front of Baron. If you start to show multiple members of Vitality here, they just turn towards the Baron. So you do need to be careful here about how many people you commit to dealing with this whole breaker Gnar on the bottom side.
I mean, you're dealing with the members that have teleport right now, so Diplex and Szygenda is the one you can send. Most times, people don't expect having 2 solo laners down in 1 lane, so I like the creativity once again coming through from Vitality. If they get that pickup, you may just teleport up towards the top side, try and force the hand of Fnatic to come into you and take a bad fight, but for now, Oscarinin, he disengages that, but Vitality, they're still playing on 2 lanes. I just don't think they can continue with this. Resets will have to come through.
I want to take a moment to quickly talk about the junglers in this series as well, because I feel like we have not talked about Skeanz enough, considering how great he's been playing across this series. And in this game, it's no different, right? 4-0-4 on the Olaf up against MAXI's Volibear here. And it feels like he has been the guy driving forwards for the side of Vitality.
I 100% agree, but this has been an incredible incredible series from both these junglers. Like, it's so hard to differentiate, where Skeanz has been the one coming out on top. Like we said, like, having that pressure mid has helped out, but MAXI has been incredible as well, like counteracting a lot of these early plays, like getting these leads for Fnatic. These two junglers have played their heart out, but unfortunately there will only be one winner.
Exactly, that's the thing. I feel like it comes down to the team as well. Yes, we can talk individuals. I feel Diplex for me is the biggest standout, but even then, it all comes down to who's the better team in the end. And now, they'll have to face check. They know they're on the Baron.
Certainly do. Diplex finds a charm onto Bean. I don't think he even knew Bean was there. He was shooting at the rest of the team. Will be enough from Fnatic to force Vitality away.
But that's the thing. Vitality just wanted to get the TP out from Oscarinin, and they wanted that pressure relief from the bottom side. And they know, hey, look, we don't actually lose a huge amount trying to do this. We've got this super tank in the Ornn. We've got the healing from Jeskla. Like, we can tank this all day, but Fnatic, trying to see if they can get the pick on Szygenda, they will back away.
That is one aspect we haven't really discussed either, is the Predator on MAXI and the Predator on Baca. If you're out of position with just a little bit, they can catch up to you in a heartbeat. So it's really about playing around your own limitations. Both teams have failed that a little bit so far. Whoever drops the ball at the next team fight might just drop the game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're Jeskla and you miss position in this game, it's like a horror movie come true. The 1,000-pierced bear and the little Lord of Darkness just sprinting at you at 100 miles an hour. You're not getting out of that one.
I mean, look, one of them sounds far more terrifying than the other.
Well, I was trying to I don't know why I went with Volibear first. I really should have done that the other way around. Either way, terrifying situation for poor old Jeskla. But he's been doing all right so far. You know, 3 deaths on the Senna, but he's slowly but surely building up in this game. As you can see, 2.5 items. And this Senna, it's one of those champions, right? The longer it goes on, the more items you get, the more terrifying.
Oh yeah, but it's also the thing you give to the team. Like, Skeanz can run forward as it goes from the mist in the beginning with the Ragnarok when you come out. It's the extra ability of CC you also get from the W. You are in a utility AD carry in this aspect. You are not going to be the one with the most amount of damage. Yes, we'll see it in burst and it'll still come out, but it's not about him.
But you got to look at being in the opposite side. Because he stopped off for the Black Cleaver because of the super tank in Szygenda, he doesn't have like a Runaan's Hurricane. He doesn't have that Titanic Hydra completed, so his AoE damage isn't there in these fights. So if you end up in the situation where all clumped together, you don't have Bean at a level where he should be.
Oscarinin in a little trouble, but he backs away, keeps himself safe here. Oh, Very close to not being true on that one as Baca goes forward, but Szygenda tries to punish him. The flash doesn't work, but Baca still survives. Oscarinin on the backside of the fight, turning Mega Gnar, but he doesn't survive. And now Rhuckz is locked up, taken out as well. Bean trying to escape, but Fnatic, they've lost the fight before it even began, and Szygenda just strolls on forward up the river. Fnatic flee into the bushes.
Yeah, he might not even be done. Baca is still getting hit by the Undertow. Oh, guess there's Infernal Gaming coming through, but so disjointed from Fnatic. You can see Oscarinin, he wanted to be the one with the engage, but the rest of Fnatic, they're just so far away. When Rhuckz finally just comes in, he's getting CC'd. It's once again the bad matchup from Rakan into CC, and Vitality, they strike back.
And it's damned if you do, damned if you don't for Fnatic, right? Because you want to try and play into River, play into where you have the vision, and let Baca play like this, but it means that Oscarinin gets caught in mid lane, and with Szygenda again zoning away the members of Fnatic, they get to deal with Oscarinin before he gets the ult. He never gets to turn Mega Gnar, and even the auto attack from Jactroll as well, being able to stop Rhuckz from the engage. It could have been so different, it was so close, but inches turn into miles, and Vitality.Bee are running away with
So
this.
unlucky for Rhuckz. It was even the Senna W that procced on him. It wasn't any immediate CC either, so could never really get in there and was just stopped in its tracks. And now it's the same battle for vision control we've seen for the majority of the game, but this time around it feels like it's favored to Vitality.
It does. Event Horizon dodged by Szygenda here. And the Baron on the cards. 4 minutes until that next Drake, so both teams can play towards the top side. And it feels like we're consistently seeing Fnatic get so close in these games, and then the longer it goes on, the more control Vitality glean. Now starting a Baron for themselves.
And it just feels like the better map understanding. It feels like the better team fights, but Oscarinin, you need to go.
He's going forwards, but once again just gets bodied by the likes of Vitality. And now with no top laner in play for 45 seconds, Vitality go back to the Baron once more.
I really hope Noah has some sellotape for that baguette, because Vitality.Bee look like they're meant to finish this series 3-0.
Yeah, just a word of warning, don't eat sellotape baguettes, guys. That's not a healthy alternative. Rhuckz finds a knock up here, maybe a chance, but Diplex turns golden, and Bean doesn't have the damage just yet. Baca will fall instead, and MAXI limps away, licking his wounds.
Oh, I got baited by that stopwatch. That could have been a turnaround fight for Fnatic there, but Diplex once again so cold on the keyboard.
They do stop the Baron, but for how long? 3 minutes until the Dragon. We know that's going to be a fight. You have got so much damage on Vitality.Bee, and again, Oscarinin feels like he needs to go because his Gnar bar is running out. Jactroll hiding in the bush completely catches him off guard, and once more, because he's gone for this like whole breaker style build, this damage style build, they can just one-shot him before he even gets to touch ground again.
You can see they're still trying to play around the CC. They can walk in with the Event Horizon. They can try and skirmish a little bit with MAXI trying to catch out Jactroll. If the CC is layered here on Diplex immediately, he's dead. But because he gets to use the Sonias afterwards, all the CC that comes through is just not enough. You can see the Veigar ultimate get cancelled out as well. And it's just, once again, Fnatic then going down in the team fight.
Hang on, we've got more action coming our way though. Rhuckz trying to clear the vision as Diplex goes the charm. Very nicely done. This time he's got a stopwatch. This time he won't be caught out. And one shot. Oscarinin does survive the initial engage. MAXI trying to move forward. It looks like Fnatic want this fight, but at minimum control.
The quickness is just about to be up for Rhuckz. They're trying to hold on to that, but now Oscarinin goes into mini Gnar, so we need to slow the pace. But they actually pick it up.
Baca's going to be knocked up here. It's a depth charge, but no follow-up from the rest of Vitality.
There you can see the Event Horizon came through, Jactroll in the middle of it, but no one willing to pull the trigger. And for Fnatic, they know the next fight they go for, that might be their entire series over. They make it or break it. That's what we're down to.
Again, though, no TP on Oscarinin, so they don't get to play sides. They don't get to keep them there. Diplex goes forward with the ult, but isn't able to find anyone. So it looks like we're going to reset. It looks like we're going to take a breather, and we're going to be looking at the vision setup for this next Dragon. Vitality have already moved into River. They're starting to place the wards down, but Fnatic want to try and look for the Baron instead.
They may want the breeder, but Fnatic, they may not just give them a choice. Now they're taking the vision control again, and Vitality, they still have to keep some members around, because if they go for full reset, well then Baron will just be started up. Szygenda, Diplex, they still don't have the teleport.
There are 4 ults on cooldown right now for Vitality.Bee. Skeanz has just come back up. Jeskla about to have his available as well, and I think Fnatic decide to back away, because remember, it's not just Fnatic's hopes in the series alive right now. This is the Superliga trying to survive through Fnatic, but Oscarinin that flash at the last second, the Dawning Shadow, not quite enough, Undertow, not quite enough, but that Maxes, brings it down over his head and now chasing onto MAXI. The Ragnarok, the slows, chasing forever, but MAXI gets behind the event horizon, but he slipped on through. Skeanz finds a way, and now Diplex finding the charm, finding the damage. The knockups come through, and Vitality stamp their foot down on the series.
And once again, Diplex in these team fights, he is so huge. The kid is only 18 years old. But he shows up massive when it matters, and Vitality, they may just be breaking the stigma around them. They are not chokers, they may be victors.
And they have the death timers, 30 seconds on towards Baca, but I don't think they're going to be able to try and end this one just yet. Well, they will take mid-tower, they will back away for the dragon, but they have to be incredibly careful. With Fnatic coming off this reset, they could look to go straight for the Baron.
I have to say, as excited as I am for Vitality, those TPs were not it.
No.
TP from blue buff to mid lane to get a tier 2, I think was a little overkill.
Would you say those TPs sucked?
Yes. Yes, I would.
But
I'll commit to it.
Let's have a look at the replay once again. It's just Oscarinin, you know. These charms, they're heat-seeking from Diplex in the fights, and we've seen it so many times where Oscarinin just gets caught off guard by the CC to the point where Fnatic, they have to flash out as well. But in the picture-in-picture, Baron has been started off.
This is what we're talking about. You get the quick reset after this from Fnatic, so, well, forced reset, let's say, from Fnatic, so they could have gone over towards the Baron, but they're not able to. So the fight, as you can see, goes in favor of Vitality.Bee, but it does mean that Fnatic now have to fight again. Vitality.Bee actually only trying to reset now. They're kind of late.
Ooh, flash forced out from Jactroll. Didn't matter in game number 2 when we saw that. But it's a nice little pickup for the side of Fnatic. Feels like Bean has really struggled to have any impact in these fights. All series long, we've seen Zeri, and all series long, it's felt a little lackluster.
I mean, you've got an answer, right? Jactroll on this Nautilus, point-and-click CC, Szygenda with the long-range follow-up becomes really difficult to make things happen, but Szygenda goes golden.
Stopwatch ruins the play for Fnatic, but Szygenda will survive. Trying to get a knock-up onto Oscarinin, but has to back away. And again, we repeat the rodeo. Back to the mid lane, back to the Baron, back to the mid lane, fighting for vision.
Yeah, and the thing is, Oscar is so close to hitting Mega now, but you can see he's waiting for the right time with it. He's keeping it high. He's keeping it easy and accessible for him to retain that form if he wants to.
He might look at the option though. Remember, they can proc it for him.
Just keep in mind as well, Baca can set up a wall for Oscarinin to then use as his follow-up with the ultimate. So you still have to be incredibly careful here as Vitality.Bee when you're playing into this vision, because one quick event horizon into Oscarinin over a wall can be just as devastating as if you're surrounded by walls on all sides.
Yeah, and both teams right now, they've just completely given up on side lanes as well. It's all about the fighting. Remember, there is still a TP for Oscar. He could be in a side lane right now, but they just cannot deal with the threat of Vitality just shutting down the Baron immediately, so it gets started off. And now, let's see if keeping Oscar around paid its dividends.
Szygenda's up on the top side of the fight. He's next to Bean right here, but in fact, he's backed away. The control ward gonna buy him space. Skeanz has to back away from this one.
It's the flank game. Diplex one is trying to get into the backline. Rhuckz needs to do the same.
Horn goes right between the goalposts, but an Everfrost is there. Szygenda, no stopwatch available. Is in, they go, trying to find more, but down they fall. Time and time again, Vitality, they just annihilate the players of Fnatic.
And every time that Rhuckz finally finds the backline, he just gets blown up. MAXI!
MAXI will escape, but that was damn close to another great play from Diplex. Flashing forward, trying to find Bean now. The slow available, but no follow-up.
I mean, Vitality.Bee are just playing home alone. You have the front door trapped, and Fnatic keep trying to go through it. And the problem is that you see Rhuckz trying to dive in through the front. He ends up with an Ornn in his face. You then look towards Oscarinin, who then gets met with all the pebbles that are there from the Christmas tree as well. This is just falling apart here for Fnatic.
They die in the river once more because they're trying to take on the wet bandits, the fools. Actually, that's the wrong way around.
I don't know if you guys watched the same Home Alone as I did, but it certainly didn't turn out like this. Fnatic, though, they are so, I want to say, struggling in finding the right team fight. It looks good initially coming through with the event horizon, but hammering down enough damage to finally get that target blown up, it just never really happens.
And we have to give a shout out to Jactroll. Every time we've seen Oscarinin go in for these fights, Jactroll is waiting there with that anchor, making sure that he gets stopped in his tracks. He can't get in onto the back line, and that is why it's been so difficult for Fnatic to find these fights, because Oscarinin is just CC'd the entire time that he's trying to engage, and it's been so well orchestrated by the Vitality.Bee support.
All right, so 1 minute until this next Drake. This will be sold on either side. Skeanz been really aggressive here. I don't think the fight will start just yet. Talk to me. Who am I watching? Who are the big players in this next
Well,
fight.
for now, we set the flanking game, and I may not even get the chance because Skeanz already on the flank.
Skeanz, not necessarily on the flank, maybe just alone on this one. Has to Ragnarok very early on in the players. It's a knock up onto Baca, flashes away to the rest of his team. Death ball from Fnatic, but players on both sides, they commit to the bottom side of the play, and they finally find some kills. Bean getting the damage down, and Baca finding the kill for himself. Oscarinin chases the rest away as Jactroll will fall to MAXI, and finally the Super Leaguers show up.
And just like that, Fnatic are able to find the plays that they need. Look at the resets coming through in mid. Fnatic have the waves. 40-second death timers on Skeanz and Jactroll. Fnatic can end the game.
It looks so dire for them, but they were finally able to drop the hesitation, just pull the trigger. 5 members up against 2. They may make this a series.
They're going to try to 20 seconds on Jeskla. Diplex and Szygenda trying to hold on to this game, but Fnatic want to keep the Super League alive. Knock up on Szygenda, trying to get these solo laners, but Diplex has big damage working away here. Szygenda finally falls. Oscarinin tanking the tower with a minion wave. It's gone. Vitality have held on.
How did they manage to keep it going? Diplex, though, is not going to be in a good spot. You still have no Ornn. The dragon is still there, so Fnatic can still back away. And now it will be the soul.
On the way pings on the Baron right now.
They might just go for that instead, but even then, if you go for the Baron, I'm sure the Fnatic would be able to get that reset through it now with Infernal Soul in hand. They have put themselves in a very advantageous point, and you're right, they are not going. I don't even think they can start it now. And, oh, Fnatic, we've even seen them lose with Soul before. They have to commit.
And it's too little too late. The only vision they had was in the pit, and now Vitality are on it. Full resets coming through. It's going to take 20 seconds before it can get here. Oscarinin TPing in. He needs to push them back, and Vitality.Bee will respect Oscarinin as he comes in.
All right, everybody, take a deep breath.
No.
And breathe out again. We finally have a small respite here. 40 minutes on the clock right now, and the gold is still within 1,000.
I'm going to be so pissed if this game ends in 3. I'm going to be so annoyed.
3 games, but they've all been bangers.
Okay,
like
so
the 3-0 would not be representative.
So let's look at the fact. Fnatic have all the rights to win this game so far, at least. They have the Soul coming through. They have the infinite scaling on Baca. He should just blow people up if they get hit by the Event Horizon. Baron have now been started off, and Skeanz TPing in.
TP from Szygenda, and Fnatic will back away from the Baron. Oscarinin jumping to the rest of his team. Will survive. The Baron doesn't actually reset though. Vitality just going to kick this one off for themselves. Fighting over the neutral. Oscarinin about to turn into Gnar, hooked in by Jactroll, and burst down, has to jump away and set the Ornn, the Dawning Shadow. Everything blasted out from Vitality, but they don't actually get the kill.
And they can play it out patiently down towards the bot side. Super minions are still stacking up. No TP still on Oscarinin, so when he goes back here, he's gone for good, and he'll have to walk back.
No TPs on either side.
Oh, Oscarinin's going to stop it though. You've still got the push in the bot side. No TPs to get there, but this wave could take towers.
Oh, it's a hook onto Rhuckz here, but Jactroll the one to go down. MAXI with a stopwatch. Szygenda on the front line. Everfrost is there. Triple knock-up. It's not enough. Baca falls. Now looking for more in the fight. 4v4. Oscarinin about to send Mega, but he gets no chance as he's shut down by Jeskla. Supers in the base. The Supers
You can't do this, Vitality. You got to back away. Fnatic are trying to keep them at bay. The towers are going to fall, and suddenly when these TPs come up for Oscarinin, for Baca, they can be so deadly. Rhuckz again playing keep away. They need to get back as Vitality.
Supers will be denied by the wave, though. They're not hitting the tower right now. Trying to deny these recalls forever. But the Everfrost is there. And now it's Fnatic that have overstayed. It's Fnatic that have gone too far. And it's Fnatic that will fall.
And at the hands of Diplex, they find 2 kills. They may even find the Baron for themselves here against the Fnatic team Queso. With Elder Soul, they managed to fumble it again. And Vitality, it's their way back into the game.
And it's just going to look on in horror as Bean. You cannot steal this. Skeanz has Smite. Fnatic have nobody left, and now Bean will return home empty-handed as Vitality stride onto the map with this Baron buff.
And it's an absolute heartbreaker for Fnatic. This is 2 games in a row now where it's felt like they had the cards in their hand and they've dropped them. They've shown everyone their hand. They've fumbled it completely, and Vitality are there to pick up the piece.
It looks so good initially. Nice Event Horizon finally stopped Jactroll in his tracks when he's the one going for the engage. But a triple man knock-off for Szygenda, allowing them to find Baca, one of the main damage facilitators and facilitators in terms of CC in these fights. Gone, and that applies so much more pressure for Vitality again, and then it kind of becomes this really big stalemate for a while.
Yeah, and then look, I like what Fnatic are trying to do, right? Like, they know that these waves will take the tower on the bot side, but overstepping, they just needed to back away, take the prize, and it means that with that Fnatic now have to deal with the Baron, and they need to make some miracle play to shut down this siege.
I wonder if this becomes easier for them now that they don't have to be the one looking for the fight, now that they know Vitality will be walking into them, at least in the base. But it's a question of how long. Will the game end here with this Baron? Or are we gonna go all the way to Elder Drake once again?
And once more, Vitality.Bee looking for their chance to rematch Keiko. Or not even rematch, Rhuckz. It's going to be Charm, but he gets out with his life. But the siege can just go on forever. Remember, this is a Senna. That range is only going to get worse. This is a full build Senna from Jeskla. He can siege all day long.
And you're just waiting for the next cannon. Cannon will take this by itself, but Jactroll wants to go!
It's a hook and it's a kill. Bean is down, and that might just be all she wrote, as MAXI can't even jump away. Oscarinin taken down as well. Baca trying to escape. Rhuckz there alongside him. Quickness popped, but it's a triple for Jeskla and Vitality.Bee. They do it in style. The LFL will have 3 teams in the semi-finals as Vitality.Bee get 3 games in the series. They want the Penta for Jeskla, and they'll get it as well. It's beautifully done as Vitality.Bee destroy Fnatic.
Is there a better way to end the 3-0 series than getting a pentakill for Jeskla, moving themselves forward for the rematch against K-Corp? What an interesting series. Despite being 3-0, it was entertaining throughout the whole way.
And it's just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking for the LVP, because every single game teetered on a knife's edge, and every time the dice roll just didn't quite go Fnatic's way.
I've learned that getting Drake's Soul doesn't matter. You're still going to lose the game.
And the crazy thing is, what we saw throughout the series was like map control and map play was really the narrative. That was the way Vitality were winning. The start of this game was Fnatic controlling the map. It was them leading the charge, but it still falls apart
I think it comes down to the experience, right? You give this Fnatic roster a year more together, or a year more to get these experiences against better teams like Vitality, then they will be looking more crisp and more clean. But problem was, we said it at the start of the day, these teams, they're identical, but Vitality, they're just looking better.
Yeah, and I think it kind of came down to like a really good understanding of how they wanted to approach these fights, right? Diplex consistently on the flank. You're looking at Jactroll landing those hooks every single time onto Szygenda, and Oscarinin didn't get a chance to play in these fights.
No.
And it consistently meant that you end up in these moments where Rhuckz was caught, Oscarinin was caught, your front line's gone, and there's just nothing that Bean can do from the back line.
Yeah, felt really, really tough for Bean, and it felt like that across the entire series. Like Bean just consistently getting locked up and taken down. But we have to take a second here and take a step back and accept that the LFL are just in charge of Europe now. 3 teams in the semi-finals. That is unprecedented.
Yeah, but also, we're going to have Seikin versus Diplex now in the mid lane moving forward as well. You know, one of the best mid laners we'll have from that league, one of the best mid laners we'll have in the European regional leagues, period. There's so many good matchups to come, and you can discuss how some of the quarters initially was looking a bit rough, but there's a reason why we have so many LFL seats here. There's a reason why they're performing as well as they are. They are just the better teams.
And this is the 4th seed as well. This is the play-in seed. Like, this was not like supposed to be the team that went the full way, but they've been so incredibly strong. And honestly, I'm delighted to see what Vitality.Bee have been able to step up to that mark in the EU Masters.
Well, boys, vive la France! As my accent is terrible, but Vitality.Bee is the 3rd team from the LFL to advance to the Amazon EU Masters semi-finals. After the break, we'll hear from the pentakill man himself, Jeskla. Stay tuned.
Systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Oscarinin aussi en train de dépush sur la mid
Szygenda,
lane.
il est prêt à E-in. Hein. Oh là, oh l'engage.
Oh oui.
Oh, ils l'ont one-shot. Mais les dégâts de Jeskla sont de catégorie illégale, Tréton.
C'est tout droit maintenant, Diplex qui peut enchaîner, qui a des resets. Baca, viens ici, Skills, tu peux changer peut-être un FNTQ, aller chercher pour cette Senna quadra-kill. Viens ici avec ton Rakan, on va le chercher. On veut le pentakill sur Jeskla pour célébrer les 3 équipes LFL en quart de finale d'European Master.
En demi-finale, tu veux dire, Tréton,
Oui.
le dernier carré, 3 quarts d'équipe LFL.
Tout droit.
Et Tréton, allez.
Pentakill.
C'est fini. What an end for this series as we're joined by Mr. Pentakill himself. Welcome, Jeskla. And first of all, congratulations on that. I'm gonna not make it nicer as this, but with that stomp.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think we all played really well today.
Oh, 100%.
So it was nice to see.
100%. I think it must be hard if you're an LVP fan, Noah, to watch this.
Don't be on the
But
floor.
in general, Jeskla, it's been quite the adventure at the Amazon European Masters so far. I mean, play-ins, then through groups, and now your semifinals together with other 2 LFL teams. How do you feel about that?
It feels nice. I mean, I'm really excited to play versus K-Corp and Rhuckz in the semifinals. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Because how has it been? Because you've faced against K-Corp before. Can you talk us a bit through how that went in the LFL playoffs?
I mean, obviously, the first time we played with them was the offline event, and just the whole crowd just went crazy. Anything ever happened, so it was quite hard to play.
Okay.
I think the second time we played them, though, it went pretty well. It was online, so it's just a lot easier to play with them online.
Yeah, I think playing online is a different momentum. We've seen it with Rogue and the LSC, for example. Like, best of 1s is a totally different beast, now best of 5s as well. I kind of want to talk about something specific in that game. Obviously, you got a pentakill on the Senna, but it was a farming Senna. Do you think farming Senna is in a better state than the fasting Senna?
I mean, honestly, no. I think I would play for sure the support Senna if I knew how to ward properly. I think it would be too much of a disadvantage to let Jactroll farm, which he's obviously not used to, and let me farm. So I mean, that's the only difference. I think actually support Senna is way better because you barely get any souls when you actually farm, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like hard to transition going from like the AD carry role to support role.
I think in the end it kind of worked out well. Jamada, you were also a bit questioned about this because, as you said, just like getting souls is really hard with this.
Yeah, no, and I think Wheels backstage was kind of counting the souls. Definitely a little bit lower than what you'd probably expect if it was that fasting Senna, but still, I mean, you saw Senna is still Senna if you pick up all of the items, and of course the rest of his team, Jeskla's team, Vitality.Bee, kind enough to donate him the penna at the end still.
Jeskla, you are a player with a lot of experience. I mean, you've played the LEC before. We've seen you doing well in the RL now. How do you look upon your career in general now coming into the semifinals of the Amazon European Masters?
I mean, obviously it's been quite a roller coaster, just going up and down from ERLs to LEC all the time. I mean, I kind of want to show everybody again that, you know, I can still play LEC. I'm good enough, right? So obviously just want to win everything with Vitality. I think all of my teammates are really good and have a lot of potential, and all of them could for sure just play LEC within 1 year.
Okay. Noah, there's something you wanted to ask.
Oh, yeah. First of all, congratulations, Jeskla, for the victory. You're going to face K-Corp in the semifinals. Both of you came from the play-ins, and we were discussing that play-ins teams feel like pretty stronger. What do you think about that?
I mean, for sure. I think the whole just the Masters from play-ins to group is way more competitive. I think now in the playoffs, there's not a single bad team, which is a huge change compared to like the other years. There was always like 1 or 2 teams like in playoffs that were quite bad. Even in groups, there was a few teams. So just the whole level of EM Masters have been like going up like so much.
I'm wondering if we can pull up the bracket, as I do want to talk about what's going to happen in the semifinals coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, Jeskla. We see LDLC against Aegyo Rogue. I feel like everyone's talking about LDLC, and no one's really taken into account that Aegyo Rogue is also a team that's out there. if I get this correctly, you lost a game against ADC Rogue.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Are they just that hard to play against?
Actually, we didn't. Actually, we lost to the German team. I mean, I do think that ADC Rogue actually. I mean, they have a lot of weird picks. They have their kind of playstyle, which actually makes them strong when they actually get those kind of champions. But I think if they play normal, they're probably not as good, right? I think LLC just seems really good right now, and ADC seems good if they're the champions like Rengar. They play Twitch Yumi, Vel'Koz, you know.
Do you expect to see LDLC in the finals, and will it be against a Vitality.Bee? I mean, it's a dumb question to ask because you will always be like, yeah, of course we're gonna win. But you know, generally speaking, LDLC is gonna be a full LFL final in the end.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think LDLC might look like the strongest team right now. I think they look really solid, and I think ADC Rogue can't really beat them, but I guess we'll have to see.
So Karmine Corp played yesterday. I don't know if you've seen that series because you obviously were preparing for the series for today. I kind of felt like Karmine Corp wasn't necessarily the strongest team in the series, although they did win. I felt like there were still some mistakes on their end. I don't know what your perception is on this team as they have progressed themselves as well, coming from a very rough LFL split to now, you know, being your opponent again.
I mean, I think they're always like solid. I think they just go up and down depending on the meta. I think the AD Carry champion pool changed for the better for them also, because I think that just Jinx Aphelios meta was not that great for them. With Saya MF also and Zeri being introduced, makes them much stronger, because I think that if Rhuckz actually is not really getting ahead in CS early game and they don't get these random kills on top, they look kind of not like the best team, basically. They need these things to actually happen, and then they look really good.
I mean, if I have to believe Jactroll, who apparently is very good at telling the future, he said, you know, we have some unfinished business. He actually said this in specific.
Okay, Jactroll, you play against Fnatic, let's say, in quarterfinals, yeah? What is the score? Best of 5, what's your score?
3-0 and we go next.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save this real quickly on my phone so I can tweet it later to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and then we can go interview after.
Yeah, call in 4K. Call in 4K, Jactroll.
I mean, he said 3-0 and we go next. That happened, but he also said we're gonna win it all. What's your predictions against K-Corp?
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. Obviously, I think that K-Corp is a better team than Fnatic. I don't think they looked very strong in the Masters at all. But I think we are just getting better and better, looking better and better. So, I mean, I'm really confident we will win.
But with what score? Is it 3-0 again? I mean, you've seen a lot of 3-0s this quarterfinals.
It's 3-1, actually. 3-1.
3-1. Yeah. Oh, 3-1. Do we follow in that, Jamada?
Given what I've seen from K-Corp and seen what I've seen from Vitality.Bee, yeah, no, I would actually fall in line with that. I'd say 3-1. If Karmine Corp have cleaned up a little bit, I can see it going all 5 games, or potentially either side. But yeah, 3-1, I think the general sentiment, I agree with you.
Noah, you have anything to add to that?
I have to say that I'm with Jamada in this one. I think they can go straight with this game.
That's a lot of Vitality.Bee fans, I need to say. I mean, there's not much to add to this, right? We've ended the quarterfinals now. We're moving on to the semifinals. Jeskla had a pentakill. What a great way to end the last quarterfinal day. Jeskla, I'm gonna thank you for being here with us. I'm gonna wish you all the best of luck as we come back on Tuesday, the 3rd of May, with that first semifinal between LDLC, Olympique Lyonnais, and ADC Rogue. And if you want to see this man perform again, I may even make another pentakill, then you'll see him on Wednesday against Carmago. Hopefully, Jeskla, have a good night. And
thank you.
This is my my last show for this EU Masters as well. I'm gonna thank you for being here with me. As of Tuesday, someone else will be sitting here, so you don't want to miss out on that one. On behalf of me, and I think also Jamada, are you returning?
Don't ask me.
Ooh, surprise! Noah, are you?
Yeah, for me for sure. I'm going back home
to
cry.
To
wait for Fnatic.
All right, I wish you all the best and enjoy the last 3 days of the Amazon European Masters as once again we return on Tuesday, the 3rd of May. Until then.